Welcome to Christian Statesman. I'm your host, Zach Wagner, and this is episode 21, Two Theories of the Universe. As a young man, I possessed some of the innate curiosities a youth with a bent towards science would naturally acquire. One of the first fascinations was with paleontology. What young boy does not become fascinated with dinosaurs at one point or another? The success of the Jurassic Park franchise would suggest that such fascinations translate into adulthood as well. Another passion was astronomy, studying the planets, stars, galaxies, and other celestial phenomena. As one delves into this subject, one finds a constant string of mind-blowing discoveries. Our galaxy and universe are far larger and more wondrous than any of us could have imagined just a few short centuries ago. As one grows older and becomes more curious, the age-old question begins to become more interesting. How did all of this come about? Then you confront the seeming contradiction of science versus religion, particularly when it comes to the origin of the universe. In one corner we have the brilliant minds such as Stephen Hawking describing a scientific Big Bang theory and a random development of all life and matter as we know it. In the other corner is the theologian pointing to the creationism described in the Bible. How can we tell who is on target here? As we examine the issue, we are led to come to the conclusion that one of these philosophies must be accurate while the other is not so much. As we learn more about the universe around us, we must determine whether everything we observe was a random phenomenon or whether there indeed was an intelligent design behind it all that points to creationism. And we can begin to ascertain that all science and religion can intersect at the point of actual, factual, historic occurrence. And as we learn more and more, the organization of things becomes less and less random and more of a miracle that intelligent life exists at all. When Carl Sagan originally wrote his Cosmos series in the 1980s, he identified 7 factors from the famous Drake equation that are needed to occur for intelligent life to evolve. He estimated that the odds for such an occurrence were many billions to 1. Since then, the astrophysics community has identified thousands of potential factors that all need to line up in order for life to evolve. This number of factors, with new factors being identified regularly, makes the odds of a random organization resulting in habitable planets containing intelligent life almost infinitesimally impossible from a statistical perspective. This throws the whole endeavor back into the intelligent design camp. In order for all of those factors to line up just perfectly so that we result in the universe we now enjoy, there simply has to be an intelligent force of organization and design behind the whole enterprise. Here is where God becomes God again, and the universe is not nearly as random as we think it is. But even an omniscient being would impose upon such a vast organization laws and principles that would then become the responsibility of science as well as theology to identify. And again, the corollary to this conclusion is equally applicable today. If God is God, and He has His hand in the design of all aspects of the universe and in the design of mankind, would it not be a natural extension to conclude that He has an interest in the affairs of men as well? Would such a being, with the capacity to engineer planets, solar systems, and galaxies, not be concerned with helping us establish truth and order in all of our doings? Would He not chafe at lies, deception, and any philosophy, political, social, or otherwise, that would contradict the principles of order involving actions and consequences on which He desires to operate? If the universe is a universe of order versus random phenomena, why would those principles of order not extend to everything under the sun, as it were? And indeed, we should operate under an assumption that all of our human endeavors should be held up against such a light of truth, a litmus test of feasibility and accountability, as it were. It is a simple and natural extension to accept the premise that if God is God, He will indeed hold us accountable for the application of correct principle and order in our affairs, insomuch as it has been revealed. And if we study the scriptural record, we find all revealed that we would ever need to conduct ourselves appropriately. As we confront the confusion and deception being held over our heads by portions of our own representatives at this time, maybe we ought to apply some of these universal principles as a litmus test for them also. After all, when it comes to such human behavior, there really is nothing new under the sun. Thank you for listening to The Christian Statesman. Hope you'll subscribe and, as always, tell your friends.